Join us for the Pledge of Allegiance. Welcome to our Monday, October 6th school board meeting. We will start with our agenda, approval, deletions, additions. Dr. Baracco.
Thank you, Mrs. Suze. You do have a couple of revisions, some additional personnel recommendations under Roman numeral 7B1. That's Mrs. Castaneda's. Those changes are at your stations. And 7E1, professional leave requests for Mrs. Gramala. Those are also at your station. Thank you.
Motion to approve?
Motion for Ms. Kelly, and I will second that. Any discussion or questions?
Can I just get a minute to go through this? I'm sorry. Oh, I know. Okay, never mind. All right, thank you.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Is there any correspondence this evening, Ms. Kelly?
There is not, Mrs. Suze. Thank you.
All right, we'll move right into our liaison committee updates, and we'll start with Mrs. Talent.
I don't have any updates at this time. Thank you.
Thank you. Dr. Malco.
The update with Lake Central Education Foundation happened 2 weeks ago, and I was not in attendance, so I can't really report on it. Do you have anything you'd like to report, Mrs. Talent?
There was a very good meeting, and we really do appreciate the people that came. Dr. Rocco was able to present to our Lake Central Education Foundation Board. There was a lot of very good discussion, and also there was discussion about the next meeting, which will be a Zoom meeting, and we will also be approving the grants this coming week, and those will be approved then at that Zoom meeting. We are very fortunate to have over 20 grants, so good job for everybody deciding that, okay, LC Foundation has got some good things going here. And the other thing that we were able to talk about was future funding, fundraiser ideas, and that was about it. It's really good.
Sounds like really good things. Legislative, just talking behind the scenes, and Dyer Parks, again, nothing to report from Dyer Parks. Thank you.
Thank you. Ms. Kelly?
I have no new information to report from either one of my committees. Thank you.
And I don't either, so we will move on to our official school board business topics consent agenda. Dr. Baracco.
Thank you again, Mrs. Suze. Seek board approval for the minutes from our last regular meeting on September 22nd, and seek board approval for the claims, payroll, and extracurricular expenditures you received in your packets last week.
Move for approval?
We have a motion from Dr. Malco,
I'll second that.
second from Mrs. Talent. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. And there are no
And I will abstain because I was not in attendance.
oh, yes, thank you. We have no public comments regarding action items, so we'll move into our official school board business topics, regular agenda. Dr. Baracco.
Okay, our first item is to recognize some individuals about our Best Buddies program. To start that off, we will have Mrs. Reeby come forward to introduce our sponsor.
I'd like to ask Mr. Matt Williams to come up.
Mrs. Reeve, you'll have to speak up because we're not hearing you up there.
Sorry. Can you hear me now? Sorry. So, Mr. Matt Williams and Mrs. Adriana Ponce co-sponsor the group, and this year they won 2 of the state awards, and I'm going to let Mr. Williams introduce his people.
Up first, we have John McCarthy. He was nominated or chosen as the Best Buddies Indiana Outstanding Chapter President of the Year.
Thank you.
Thank you. Should I stay up or? And then up next, we have a buddy pair from our chapter that was chosen as the Best Buddies Indiana Outstanding Buddy Pair of the Year for the state of Indiana, and that was for Maddie Schultz and Aiden Blankenship.
Well, I'm going to take a moment to share with the people in the audience and those at home that we're really proud of our Best Buddies program, not just at the high school, but at our other chapters in the school corporation. They have really made the quality of life, our culture, and our climate better at Lake Central Schools. So thank you, Mr. Williams, all the kids who participate at all levels. It's a great program. We're proud that it's in our schools. Thank you.
You know, Dr. Bracco, I guess I assume that everybody knows what the Best Buddy program is about. Probably most people that are here do. But for our audience, could you give a little snippet about the Best Buddy program? Or could someone, Mrs. Reeby, Mrs. Gumala?
Sure. Best Buddies is a national organization that the goal is to focus on building friendships and relationships between individuals in the school setting and in the community with disabilities and individuals without disabilities. So we create buddy pairs, and students are paired together based on their interests. We have our chapter here at the high school, but we also have chapters at Kaler and Clark, and this year we have our first elementary program at Protzman. And so we're hoping to continue expanding within the district. At Holman started a chapter also, Mrs. Blaine is correcting me. This is our first year at the elementary level. So we're really excited that it's expanded all the way down to the elementary schools as well. So it's a wonderful program. And it helps build up to our peer mentor program here at the high school as well. And really, fosters that culture of inclusion that we have here within Lake Central. So we're very proud of it.
And it's really, really awesome to see the children involved at the sporting activities, how they're doing the cheers, and just right along with everyone else. So what a positive, and thank you for being the cheerleader of that, whoever that is.
We are going to continue with the rest of our agenda for the board meeting. Any of our special guests who receive recognition tonight, if you need to get on to other things, we understand that. At this time would be a good time for you to exit, stage left or right, back door left or right.
Thank you.
Just real quick, I just want to say thank you to all the parents that have helped and support these student leaders.
Okay, my second item this evening is just to seek board approval for the board policy updates that we did at our work session in early August. They range from .01661 through board policy 5610. Seek board approval for those updates.
Move for approval.
Motion from Dr. Malco, and I will second that. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Motion passes. Thank you. And on to our Assistant Superintendent, Mrs. Castaneda.
Thank you. I seek the board's approval for the personnel recommendations, the revised copy that you received this evening.
So
Motion to
moved.
approve. Oh, sorry,
I'm
Louise.
sorry. No. Go
Great
ahead.
minds think alike.
We have a motion from Mrs. Kelly and a second from Mrs. Talent. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. And our Director of Primary Education, Dr. Bracy.
Good evening. For my first item, I am seeking your approval for the professional leave request in your packets.
Move for approval.
Motion from Dr. Malco. I will second that. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor? Aye. Motion passes.
Thank you. And for my next item, I am seeking approval for the field trip request in your packets.
Motion to approve?
Motion from Ms. Kelly.
I'll second.
Second from Mrs. Talent. Any questions?
And do we know where they're going on their field trip? The ones,
Yes. They are going to,
have to read it. Oh, that is the teachers, okay. I misread this, thinking it was students going
Thank
to
you.
Chicago.
oh no,
And I just, just questioning, but they're not,
they're going to Beecher, Illinois.
the teachers are. Okay, thank you.
All right, all in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Motion passes.
Thank you. And for my next item, as you know, I have challenged all of the elementary principals to start identifying their vision stories for their school. And so we had Mrs. Petralia from Bibbage present, we had Mr. DeLauder from Piper present, and tonight we have Mrs. Cruz from Coling here to present her vision story for Coling Elementary.
Good evening, thank you for having me tonight. As Dr. Bracy said, all of the elementary schools were tasked with identifying a vision for the school year. Just before we left for summer break, we had a couple of open bulletin boards, and I started thinking about how we can use one outside of the office to go along with some things that were coming down the pike with attendance, and also because it was about time for us to focus on attendance again. And so I used taking over that board to make sure it's meaningful, and using that attendance piece as our goal at Coling to get back on track with attendance. So the vision, and it's a lofty one, and I'll explain why in just a little bit, but the vision is for Coling to have 90% of Coling will have at least 94% attendance rate. That 94% is what the state asks for students. Now, if you notice, I didn't say that 90% of Coling students would have that. I just said that 90% of Coling would have that, because our goal is that both our students and our staff will have at least 94% attendance this school year. And so just a couple of facts that come from Attendance Works. It's one of the online resources that is linked through the Department of Education. They go on about lots of attendance facts. So just put 3 that stood out to me to share with you tonight, but I'm sure you can imagine a lot of others that would probably be on there. The first one is when students improve their attendance rates, they improve their academic prospects and chances for success. When they're in classrooms, they're going to learn. I found this one interesting, that by 6th grade, students that have chronic absences or a history of chronic absences, that becomes a leading indicator of students that will eventually drop out in high school. And then the last one, attendance improves when schools engage students and families in a positive way about attendance. So a couple other things. Chronic absenteeism is defined by students being absent from school 10% or more of the time, which is 18 days or more for the school year. So that's what constitutes being chronically absent, is 18 days or more. Chronic absenteeism spiked during the pandemic and remained a serious problem. So that's going back to what I said earlier, that we're trying to get it back on the board. Prior to that, we did celebrate perfect attendance, and then we just kind of halted celebrating attendance because we didn't want to push, especially when the pandemic started, we didn't want to push people coming to school and trying to achieve something at the expense of getting other people sick or spreading the germs. And so then it just kind of lingered around to some degree, and maybe not as strong as it was when it hit, but it never quite felt right to still push attendance when people were still trying to navigate what to do and when was a good time to stay home. So we had conversations, and I did send out letters, and I talked to parents, and I met with parents, and for those extreme circumstances, we did pull in other resources for them, but it wasn't a whole community communication. So in addition to being cautious about coming back to school, there definitely felt to me personally, and this I don't have data on, but it felt to me like the value for attendance was shifting in the wrong direction. And that's why I did want to bring it back on the forefront of what was important about schools. I also wanted to make sure to be careful and not going back to perfect attendance, because nobody's perfect and we all get sick and things happen in our lives. And so it's about balancing and having good habits and valuing attendance and good work ethic and making sure that that's something that's important to our families. So that was the goal with it. I hated putting these numbers on here, but I just want to be real. In 2024, the IDOE attendance rate showed that 66.8% of polling students had attendance at 94% or above. I know.
I still get baffled by that.
Yes.
Knowing, it just doesn't seem right.
Yes.
I just think they did something wrong with calculation.
I think that there is a piece of that in there too, but there definitely was a shift in attendance. And so I am curious to see what happens with the formula. Just showing the other elementary schools and the state, it's not like polling was plummeting compared to anywhere else. I think that there was a formula, and I don't know where that comes from because I wasn't part of the formula, but there definitely was a decline since COVID.
Was it cumulative over several years?
That would be for one school year.
Just one school year?
Yes.
24.
Yes.
That was it?
Yes, and that data, if you want to get to it, it's the bottom of every school website in the district. And then you can see the state there at the bottom. Watson didn't have a 6 in the front, so you gotta find out what there it was. So, trying to figure out what I was going to do with the board, I came across this idea of an attendance board, which I also wanted to do something with attendance, and I thought that's what the board is going to be. One, I don't have to keep doing the board all year long. And so I took some ideas that I saw online, and this is the board that sits outside of the polling office. You can see the staff has a spot on there. The staff doesn't have as many pretty ribbons. So every week that you have, and I put our goal at 95, it was just a number that made more sense to me than 94, but we're still trying to hit that mark. I don't want the school also to be hit with, if we're doing well academically, when these ratings come out, to have our attendance affect us either. So if we shoot for 95, we should fall above 94. So anyone who has attendance rates, any grade that has attendance rates over 95%, we put those up. I do it at the end of the day every Friday, so every Monday they come in, the new ones are on there, and we add a ribbon every week. Now the staff has 68 staff. The smallest class size is somewhere around 100, so every time the staff is absent, it does hit us a little bit more. And you can see we fell just below getting our ribbon there on the last one. But this does sit out in front of the office. And then if you ever read my Parent Square messages, you'll see at the very top, it's always the very first thing on my weekly message on Sunday of what our attendance rate is, reminding parents that every day matters. And a big part of it is calling their kids off, so reminding them to call their kids off, and that's part of that message. So I shared that vision with the staff at the beginning of the year. I let them know that I wanted to start a attendance committee to try to find ways to celebrate attendance and make sure that that was something that was very clear as the vision of our school and communicated regularly. It was open to anybody, and all of these staff members willingly came on board. We have, of course, the administration, some teachers, reading specialists, and even a paraprofessional who is a part of that committee. And some of the work that we do, we're working on quarterly awards, which would include a certificate with some kind of a coupon. So we're soliciting from different businesses, like a free ice cream or a free cookie or something like that, to to add with their certificate, and then a keychain that they can add one every quarter so they can kind of collect them. We opted with that over pins because no one will get stuck with the keychain, and hopefully those keychains will stay on their backpacks and they can collect them. And then our quarterly assemblies, we're going to do minute to win it challenges. We're going to try not to do anything too strenuous. Keep our staff safe. I learned from Allison to be careful of having staff run. We're not all young and athletic, so try to have fun without doing too much running or jumping for the adults. That will be, everyone will be included in that, but the people that get to participate will be randomly pulled from people with those attendance rates, but everyone will be able to cheer everyone on and be part of the fun. And then just making sure that it's a part of regular communication, the bulletin board, the parent square, Monday announcements, and then the teachers also have some different ways to acknowledge businesses that partner with us to help celebrate throughout the year. And that is our vision. Any questions?
I still struggle. I did initially, and I asked Mrs. Castaneda about it. I said, this just doesn't seem the right percentage. She tried to explain it to me, but still I think there's something kind of confusing in there. Could somebody call RDOE and ask what the world that's all about?
And I think the biggest question I have is, so what is the formula now? Because I would bet that we can't find anyone to even explain to us what it was in 2024. But I would like to know, how am I going to be graded? I would like for that part to be clear.
Well, the fact that we have known in the past that our leadership at the State Department doesn't make errors. They've got a lot coming at them, and they're only human, like you said, they're not perfect. So I would sure like one of our leaders, whomever it might be, to call them and see if you can find out some information. Are other districts showing that large of a decrease as we show?
Yes, that is something, that's why Indiana came up with their new attendance requirements. They did, I know they backpedaled on some of them because they were a little bit too extreme and the resources weren't there to carry out what they had initially had. But the reason it did become a focus from the state level is because there was a decrease. And it definitely was evident in not only our students and affecting them academically, but I think all of your principals, if you ask them, have struggled with staffing and, not even the absences, but even finding subs to come in. And it's just, there has been this kind of aura of work ethic not being where it was before the pandemic. So just trying to bring that back.
Appreciate you doing all the work on that. That's very interesting.
Thank you.
And if we can find them at Falls, wouldn't that be fun?
Well, you have a lot of ribbons on some of
Yes.
those boards, so that's a good start.
Yeah, it's fun watching them.
Yes,
It's a lot of fun.
yes,
Thank
for
you.
sure.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Oh, that's right, I'm Misty tonight.
And I see our Director of Secondary Education, Mrs. Schoeneman's not here, so I'm assuming Dr. Bracy.
Yes, I am Mrs. Schoeneman tonight. So the first item on her agenda is to request the approval for the professional leave request in her packets.
Motion to approve?
Motion from Ms. Kelly,
Second.
second from Ms. Talent. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And for her next item, I am just seeking approval for the field trip request in her packet.
So moved.
Motion from Mrs. Talent. I will second that. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you.
Thank you. Our Director of Student Services, Mrs. Gramala.
Thank you. My first item is to seek your approval for the professional leave requests that were included in the packet.
Move for approval.
Motion from Dr. Malco,
I'll second.
second from Ms. Kelly. Any discussion or questions? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes. Thank you.
Thank you. And then I want to put in a quick plug on October 14th. We are going to have our Special Education Parent Advisory Resource Fair that will take place here from 5 to 8. It'll be right out here in the Commons area. We will have door G open for parents to enter. We're going to have about 70 vendors. It should be a great event, so we would love for people to come out for that. And then I have two speakers here tonight. We have Beth Hall and Jenna Blaine, two of our speech-language pathologists. October is AAC Awareness Month, and they're going to tell you what AAC stands for and share some information from a recent professional development session that the board approved for them.
You know, Mrs. Grimala, before I forget, there was a reading program that going on one night in the building. Is that part of all the parenting group that you have?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes, that was last week, 2 weeks ago, last week, I don't, everything's running together. 2 weeks ago, maybe.
Are you talking about with the SEPA group?
Yes. So good evening.
And please use the microphone so it picks up on the live stream.
Turn it.
Good evening. Thank you for having us. Jenna and I are two of your speech-language pathologists here in the district. And tonight we're hoping to share some background information about augmentative and alternative communication and how that's looking in our district right now. And then also share information from a recent professional development we went to. So just brief introductions. My name is Beth Hall. This is my 18th year with Lake Central. I currently have a caseload for the applied skills classes at the high school, and I'm doing assistive technology evaluations across the district, hoping to identify and service students who would benefit from these strategies.
And my name is Jenna Blaine, and this is my 16th year in the district, and I work at Holman Elementary School. And I work in all of the applied skills classrooms there, and I also supervise a speech-language assistant.
So there's two terms we'd like you to understand that we'll be using tonight. The first one is AAC, and that stands for Augmentative and Alternative Communication. And that's just basically all the ways somebody can communicate without talking. So that might be a picture communication system, a high-tech device, using gestures or sign language, or even writing or typing messages. Bless you. And the second term we'd like you to know is SGD, or Speech Generating Device. And that's basically a type of AAC system. And it's high-tech, and it provides access to a robust language system and synthesized speech. And on the slide are pictures of, if you were to walk into one of our classrooms across the district, this would be what an AAC system looks like. And along the bottom right corner is a student using one. And in the devices that we're implementing here, they are pre-programmed with over 4,000 words in them. As Mrs. Grimala said, October is AAC Awareness Month, so we have some statistics relevant to Lake Central and where we are at in our AAC journey. We, as speech-language pathologists, are obligated, both according to our state law, Article 7, and according to our professional code of ethics, to consider and provide access to AAC strategies in people who have the presence of a severe speech or language impairment. A stat that I just learned in the past week or two, with it being AAC Awareness Month, is about 1.3% of the general population requires access to an individualized, robust AAC system. And sadly, less than 0.5% of our demographic has access to their own AAC system. So when we pull those numbers, we tried to, in preparing for this evening, we tried to look at how we're doing here at Lake Central. And to prepare for that, we have a staff of about 20 SLPs and SLPAs here that are all working to provide access to these strategies. And we polled them, and collectively we estimate that we have approximately 150 to 160 device users in our district. And when we crunch those numbers and put it compared to our student population, we are targeting about 1.5 or 1.6% of our student population. So we are doing a fantastic job identifying those kids and giving them access to these supports. Recently, over the past few years, we have been very successful in using our credentials as SLPs to guide our families and provide students access to their own personal SGDs that they own. And most of the time, we're able to do that with no cost or low cost to the families, so we're very proud of that. And then finally, just kind of a myth associated with AAC systems is that oftentimes our families or sometimes even our staff have fears that if we put a system like this in place, it might hinder speech development, and the research consistently shows that it helps support verbal speech and language development.
So I'm going to talk about the professional development that we were able to go to. We went to the Indiana AAC Summit, and it was actually their 10th year doing it. It was created by 2 SLPs, and they created the summit to bring all of the AAC specialists in our area together to learn new information, collaborate with each other, and just talk about a wide variety of topics. And one unique thing that they do is often bring in AAC users who are full-time users to tell us about their journeys. And this summit was actually all about literacy skills with people children and adults who are minimally speaking or have deficits with their functional communication skills, so they use AAC. And so there was a woman who came on and she did a virtual session with us and just talked about her journey with literacy and just, where it started, and it's a difficult thing sometimes. And so that's just a really unique thing that the Indiana AAC Summit uses. They really focused on using AAC tools to give all students, regardless of their communication status, the opportunity to learn literacy skills, and they talked heavily about the science of reading and keeping it consistent with that. So just a few things, we're just taking a few things that we learned and hope to bring back to the staff that we work with and directly to our students. Obviously, we learned so much, we could talk to you for so long, but just a few things that were really important. This one, working in an elementary school with students who some of them are starting to learn to understand concepts of print, and some of them are starting to read. All of these things are so important. So these are the characteristics of inclusive environments to promote literacy with AAC users. Having access to a variety of print and a variety of different ways to access the alphabet, whether that be flashcards or on a static board or interactive pieces that they can pull off of the wall to manipulate, consistent access to their own communication systems throughout their day, and then having the ability to know that they're going to be acknowledged and heard and their voices and choices are going to be understood, and then having staff who work with them that are engaged and interactive. So those are really, really important things. You've got to have all of those pieces if you're going to have consistent strengths in your literacy skills when teaching AAC users. And then another thing they talked about a lot was really using students' interests and motivations and things that they prefer and tying that into reading and writing activities, because that is motivating to our students, and really shared about that a lot. There was also a strong emphasis placed on the difference between AAC users that were emergent literacy learners and also conventional. And we were taught different routines to put in place in classrooms for our AAC users to move beyond those basic print concepts, beyond those basic letter identification skills and strategies to work towards more conventional routines, building our way to be stronger readers and stronger literacy skill development. And again, the information presented to us was really tied to the science of reading to be utilized with all students, including our students with complex communication needs. And then lastly, they talked about how to do alternate assessment and also different strategies for teaching skills where our students who are complex communication communicators need just different strategies that are atypical from the traditional. For example, some of our students, when we're thinking about responses, they may have a difficult time with closed questions. And so using more open-ended questions, that's a strength. And then also fluency. We're not going to obviously use an oral reading measure to look at their fluency, but track things like their comprehension skills, how they're understanding their receptive language to the text, and then also tracking print. And overall, we just really need to make sure that we're giving access to robust vocabulary systems for our students and really be creative in how we're using strategies to teach skills for reading and writing and look at alternative options when we're testing them too. So how are we going to use this information? We are obviously going to continue providing access to robust language systems. All of our students deserve to have access to everything they could ever want to say in any situation with whatever communication partner they are working with. Going back and giving this information to our colleagues and making sure that they understand the importance of literacy skills. We don't know what our students know. We can only assume that they have the receptive language skills, the understanding exactly what they should, because it's too dangerous to assume that based on what they're showing us, they may not understand as much, because that's most of the time not true. And so we really want also, big picture, to hopefully create a multidisciplinary literacy committee, especially with our young learners, to just make sure we're all on the same page and honing in on all of those literacy skills, especially for our emergent learners. Any questions?
Well, yeah, I do have a question. You said you had really good success with increasing the number of, can't read my writing, the SGDs. And so talk to us about the increased number of SGDs now. You did it.
So we have two sort of sources that we're looking at in pairing devices with children. We do the assistive technology evaluation process through the IEP, and once we determine that's a need that needs to be present in the IEP, we look at how to put that in place. So our tech department is incredibly supportive with, and Mrs. Grimala has been incredibly supportive with giving us access to iPads that have the communication apps on them. And then alternatively, as SLPs, we hold the credentials to tap into funding either through insurance or Medicaid that most of our families have. So we've had very high success rates at families who choose to go through that process with us. If we help facilitate that process, we are able to help them tap into those funds to obtain a personally owned speech generating device at no cost or low cost to them. And it's considered durable medical equipment, so they are very durable and they travel between home and school. And then they're typically covered by warranties and are just more supportive long-term for our students.
That would be very, very successful, I'm sure. So then I got to go by that little boy, with the lady, such a cute little picture.
And these are all our students, and they are just, the words that they tell us with their voices is just fantastic.
So am I correct? This is corporation-wide?
Mm-hmm.
This is
Yes.
not just one school? It's
Nope.
everywhere.
Every building has AAC users.
And there was something else I wanted to ask you, but, not too long ago, we had a presentation, remember the symbols? The symbol boards? So you guys did that too? I can't remember what they were called.
The communication boards. The communication boards.
Oh, yes, those are considered, the appropriate term for them would be, or the technical term is a static board, meaning these are, our iPads are dynamic because when you hit a button, it changes screens. Those are considered static boards, so they stay the same. And in our speech world, those have core words are prioritized, and that overlaps with the literacy world of being frequently used words or sight words. So there's a lot of overlap between the two. So in our speech world, we prioritize those core. Yes. Yep.
Thank you, ladies. Yeah.
Thank you for that. And our Director of Facilities, Mr. Ledger.
Thank you, Mrs. Seuss. I have 2 items tonight. My first one is to seek your approval for the Karen Bursch Memorial Tree at Bibbage. Just a reminder, Mr. Bursch was here with us earlier in the spring this year, and Karen, his wife, taught at Bibbage for years, and he established an endowment in the spring, and he's with an annual donation to Bibbage to help with Bibbage students who have negative balance on their food service, as well as some classroom supplies for teachers if there's money left over after he helps the students with food service. He reached out to Allison in the summer. He wanted to also install a tree. So early this fall, Allison and I met him over there. We found a spot outside the new cafeteria with all the glass there, kind of on the northwest side, and it's a flowering dogwood. It's going to be a large tree. It's a 3-inch caliper, and it blooms white, beautiful flowers in the late spring. And Allison and the staff are pretty excited about it, so that's where this is coming from. And he'll plant it here. He reached out to a local landscaper who helped him with the architecture and picking out the tree, and he hopes to plant it here this fall, pending approval tonight.
That's very nice of Mr. Burris to do that. Do we need a motion? I move for acceptance.
We have a motion from Dr. Malco,
I'll second.
second from Mrs. Kelly. Any discussion or questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. Allison, will you contact him tomorrow and let him know, and let us know then when it's scheduled? Thank you. Thank you. My next item is an optimization update. You've heard Dr. Veraco throughout the year talking about our higher NIPSCO costs and everything else, and that surely is true. In fact, energy costs since 2022 are rising higher than the rate of inflation. So we've been in this program here for a few years, well, for several years, and since 19, we've got some new software recently, so we were able to kind of go ahead and load in NIPSCO bills and what we've done to try to see what kind of cost avoidance we've saved over these last 5 years. And basically here, and this is all predicated on a normalized weather, you put in all this stuff, and basically we have saved almost $1.1 million in the last 5 years. $1,050,000 of that is electrical costs. We've saved over 7.15 million kilowatt hours. A kilowatt hour now is somewhere with a blended rate is between 18 cents and 24 cents for us. So it's been a large savings. One of the big things we've done too, you can look at it at your leisure. I won't bore you with all the graphs, but we put data meters at the high school, Protzman, Bibbage, and Grimmer, and that helps us a lot to see where we're spiking, what we can do to save costs. If you look at the costs too, you'll see this on the front page here. As the years go on, the avoidance cost is lowering because at some point you do meet diminishing returns because you take off the big chunks early on and you keep working at it. But that goes down, but you can also see our graphs too for each individual school. We've learned a lot. I mean, one of the graphs showed us at the high school one night, we kept getting these spikes every night, and we just couldn't understand why. Well, long story short is when they were cleaning the pool, the custodians had all the lights on, and those lights are not LEDs, and it was just literally spiking our meter every night. So we talked to Kevin and everything, so now they only turn on half the banks, and that thing is leveled out. We've also, throughout the optimization program, we always look at grants and stuff with NIPSCO. Last year, we got a grant, and basically all the lights were paid for. We changed out everything at the high school and the freshman center in the common areas. We went to LED bulbs, and basically with the refund and the grant from NIPSCO, all the bulbs were paid for. All we had to do was the labor. This year, there's a similar grant. We're just working with it right now, And we're hoping to change out all the classrooms at the high school from fluorescent to LED as well. That's going to be a little more tedious because we'll have to do it over winter break and at night because when the classrooms are empty. But we are going to order the lights here probably in the next couple of weeks, and we'll get that. That will also help save this. So we're trying to help save some of this cost. And again, the meters and the guys here at Schmidt and Arctic and HOH, they really work hard at this, and we can see some benefit from it. Any questions?
No, but I think it's very noteworthy that you're really trying.
Yeah, I mean,
Good for you.
every dollar counts.
Absolutely. And when we forget that, then we're going the wrong direction.
It's really great that you're involving the staff and that word gets out to other staff, your custodial staff and that. It's very good. Keep that communication going because it makes us all mindful of how much money you're all saving. And it makes a difference then for all of us. So thank you.
You're welcome. Thank you.
Thank you. And our Director of Business Services, Mr. James.
Thank you. Well, we've come to the end for the board's portion of the budget adoption process. And so 2 meetings ago, I gave the board a budget presentation. At our last meeting on September 22nd, we held a public hearing. And so today is the evening where we do a series of resolutions to formally adopt the 2026 budget. So the first resolution that you have is to seek your approval for the 2026 budget appropriations and the tax rates that were presented.
Move for approval.
We have a motion from Dr. Malco, and I will second that. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. The second resolution is to adopt the 2026 capital projects plan that was previously presented to the school board.
Motion to approve?
Motion from Ms. Kelly,
I'll second.
second from Mrs. Talent. Any discussion? Hearing none, all in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. The third resolution is to adopt the 2026 school bus replacement plan that was presented to the school board.
Move for approval.
We have a motion from Dr. Malco, and I again will second that. Any discussion, questions? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And then the final resolution relating to the budget process is where we annually adopt the amount that we're going to transfer from the education fund to the operations fund. The state doesn't want us to transfer more than 15% of that money. For the last year, or excuse me, this year in 2025, we transferred $4.2 million over during 2025, and that represents only 6% of our education fund allocation. I am seeking to keep that amount the same in 2026 and maintain that low percentage. And so this resolution authorizes the transfer of $4.2 million over the calendar year, which I will do in equal monthly installments from the education fund to the operations fund.
So moved.
Motion from Ms. Talent,
I will second.
second from Ms. Kelly. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And then my final item is to seek your approval for the donations that were included in your board packet.
Motion to approve?
Motion from Ms. Kelly. I will second that. Any discussion? All in favor?
Aye.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much.
And there are no public comments, so we'll move right into our board comments and consideration future agenda items. Ms. Talent.
Once again, always just want to say thank you for everyone's work. Everybody does such a marvelous job, and the focus is really great. So thank you.
Thank you, Dr. Malco.
Well, I'm very happy to hear about the AAC, because I think I usually ask her about it, and even though I hear it, I don't remember it, but now seeing it and putting a different learning style with it, I think that I will remember it now. And I'm happy to know that it's just district-wide, and that's so important. I don't think that I had anything else to mention, other than I'm just hearing really, really good things about Lake Central, really good things. I go to a ball game, and that's all I hear, so That means a lot. So I want you to know they're out there stating good things about you and your schools and your leadership and our students and our parents and our community. And that's it. Thank you.
Thank you. Mrs. Kelly?
The two ladies said it perfectly. I don't have anything to add to that, so
I know, hearing great things.
Thank
That's
you.
a good thing. So I'll turn it over to Dr. Veraco for board calendar of future activities.
So our next meeting is here 2 weeks from tonight, October 20th, same place. Thank you.
Same time?
Same time.
Do we have motion for adjournment?
motion to adjourn.
I will second.